Okay, now that we have our synths in, we're going to start turning this track into an actual track by adding some automation and some effects and giving it just some more structure. So we're going to be doing that by arranging the playlist here, and we're also going to start using the mixer. So there's a few ways to open up the mixer. You can click this button right here, or you can go up to View and hit Mixer. And you can also just press F9 on your keyboard, and that pops it up. So this is how you add effects through the mixer. Let's go ahead and add Serum to our mixer here. Let's go ahead and add it on Insert 1. Go to right click, Channel Routing, and route selected channels to this track. And that's how you add, it can be a plugin or a sample or anything. You just want to make sure that it's selected, and then go to whichever channel on the mixer that you want to assign it to. Right click, Channel Routing, route selected channels to this track. So now what that means is that that's our second serum. Oh, I'm sorry, first serum, which is our little pluck sound, is on channel 1 of the mixer. So now anything that we do on channel 1 of the mixer is going to affect the sound. This is just the volume fader right here. So we can start adding effects to that pluck, which we're going to do by making kind of a little intro to this sound here, or I'm sorry, this track. So go ahead and copy this. Actually, let's not copy it. Let's just drag it over. And we just drug it over 8 bars. So we're going to make a little 8-bar intro. And you can measure the bars up here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And you can see the color kind of changes briefly every 4 bars. So let's put our pluck here. And now that we have it assigned to our mixer, we can start adding effects. So one way to make an intro is to kind of introduce the synth. And by doing that, we can add a low pass along with some reverb. So really easy way to low pass is to just use the parametric EQ2, which is a stock FL EQ. And you just go over here to slot 1 on the channel. This is where you add your effect plugins. So on slot 1, we're going to go down here to Filters and hit Fruity Parametric EQ2. And then this brings up our basic little EQ. And if you want to add a low pass, just go to 7 right here, hit right click, go to Type, and low pass. And you can see it kind of immediately adds a little duck right there. And then you can control the low pass like this. And if you want to get rid of this little slope here and make it more sharp, you can just use your mouse wheel and scroll down. And you can scroll down to make it like that, give it a little more upper curve there. Or you can scroll down and make it a more gradual slope. So we'll just go ahead and leave ours right there. And this is what happens when you activate the low pass. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to automate this low pass. And automation is basically how you control different effects and filters and just basically every knob and everything that you want to be having changed or automated. And we do that through lanes using points. So I'm going to right click this right here, which is controlling the frequency of this low pass. And I'm going to right click and go to Create Automation Clip. And now we have this little automation lane down here. And this is controlling the low pass of our pluck. So if you want to add a point to the automation, just go anywhere in it and right click and it will add a point. And right now it's snapping to grid because of our magnet. But you can have it, you know, you can adjust this however you want. We're gonna leave it just snapping to grid right now because that's the easiest way to do this. But let's go ahead and put a point right here and then have it so it kind of sweeps up. Another thing that we can do is add some reverb to this and make it kind of slowly introduced along with the low pass. So we can go over here and we can just add, we'll use Fruity Reverb 2. And this is the dry wet of the reverb. So when this is all the way down, the reverb through this effect plugin is not being activated, but when we have it up, it is. And then over here is the decay. You can see when this is up along with this, the reverb is very noticeable. So one thing, cool thing that we can do here is we can automate the wetness of this reverb to introduce this synth. I'm gonna highlight this first 8 bars of our playlist, go back to our mixer, click on the reverb plugin, and just right click where this wet knob is. And we'll go ahead and place this automation down here next to our EQ automation. And we can probably introduce this. Let's see how this sounds. I'm going to just play around with these automation points here. But let's go ahead and see how this sounds. So that kind of came on a little strong. I think it's because this EQ duck I tried there. The reverb is also pretty hefty, so we can turn this down a little. Another thing that's cool to do in the intro to kind of make it a little different from the main section of the beat here is let's go ahead and clone our little plug pattern here. And then open up the piano roll, which I'm not sure if I mentioned, but you can also just click right here where you see the MIDI to open up the piano roll, or you can right click and hit piano roll. But let's take this down an octave. So there's a really easy way to do that. You can hold Control, highlight it, keep holding Control, and then just press the down arrow on your keyboard, and it will immediately take it down 1 octave. Let's replace this. See how this sounds. Oops. All right, so that kind of slowly introduces that pluck there. It is a bit loud, so I think one more thing that we can do is automate the volume. And we can do that simply just by right-clicking on the fader and creating a clip. Okay. If you ever want to copy the value of a certain automation clip or point, you just right click and hit copy value. I'm going to do that and then paste that so that this is consistent. Now what we can do is we can add like some sweeps and effects. I'm gonna go back down here to my sample pack and go to effects. Let's add a little impact at the very start. Yeah, that works. So go ahead and add that. Really loud. Go ahead and put this on the mixer right away. Our impact is right here. Turn this down. You can also add some white noise here. Go ahead and put this on the mixer as well. And what we can do with this white noise sample is just paste it over here and make this one unique. Double click it and hit reverse right under pre-computed effects. And now it's a reverse sample. And take our little slice tool, cut it right there at the end of the 8 bars. And now we have an upsweep that's the exact same as our downsweep. I'm also sensing that we could definitely use a crash cymbal at the start of the drum beat. Let's go ahead and grab one. And I'm just gonna go ahead and right click over here and insert. I have a new track to work with here. And I'm gonna place a crash right there. So it's pretty dry and it kind of ducks out really quickly, which sounds a little awkward and unnatural. And a way that you can fix that problem if you're having that with the crash cymbal is just add it to your mixer. One thing I always do, which I will get later, I will get more into this in the mixing portion, but I like to cut my crashes at about 100 Hertz just with the EQ, simply like that. But a way to get rid of that dryness is to just add some reverb. So there, it kind of lasts a little bit longer, doesn't immediately go away. Another thing we could do here is maybe like add 2 quick little snare hits here. So, forgot about our little guy here. I think what we can do to set this guy apart from the original pluck, it's kind of our layer section. Let's just go ahead and cut this, which means we're deleting it but copying it at the same time. And we're gonna clone this serum. So it's exactly the same. And it's also assigned to the exact same spot on the mixer. But we can control the volume of this. So we can make it quieter than this one. And now let's copy our 8-bar loop here. And paste it over here. And we can use these sweeps that we did right here just by copying them, give them their own lane. We're gonna organize this whole project too here in another video. But let's copy these, put them over here. So you can hear that sweep coming in here at the end. And then another cool thing we can do with the automation and those effects that we added to the pluck is that we can cut the drums right here. And then this is our low pass. What we can do, we want to make sure that we keep the automation lane consistent so that we don't change anything previous to it. So what I can do, put a point right here. And you can hear that sort of sucks out and then gets sucked back in, which we can increase even more by using this reverb. And then maybe add a quick little snare hit here again. Cool. All right, so now that we have a basic understanding of adding some effects and getting some automation going in here, let's move on to working around with the MIDI a little bit more, and then also some organization.